Are we live? Are we live? Apparently we are live. Here we go. Well, evening. Here we are. First live session on the channel. It's a bit nerve-wracking. If anybody is watching, hopefully some people are, if you could just give me a thumbs up if the audio and video is any good. So we've got a few watching here now. Yeah, so here we are, first live session. I've actually been bombarded with questions today about the last video I posted on buying the KTM Super Duke GT. So I just wanted to sort of welcome you to the live channel, and yeah, well, it's a bit nerve-wracking this. And we've got 11 watching now. If you've got any questions at all, then hit me with them. I've got a few questions from the last Q&A session I did 4 or 5 weeks ago, which I shall answer. So we've got a few videos, a few viewers here. First question I wanted to answer from the last time round was some of you showed an interest in supporting the channel, and back then I didn't have anything set up in place for that. But I do have now a Patreon account. So for those that are interested, the links for that are in the description below to this video. So if you do want to support the channel, I understand it's not for everybody, but if you are interested in that, links to that are in the description below. So how many people are watching? We've got 13 watching now. If any of you 13, can you just drop me a message in the chat or in the live chat, just to make sure that video and audio is working? That would be great. Give us a thumbs up or just write something in there. Hopefully this isn't going to be a total disaster. Live streams are always a bit nerve-wracking, but there we go. Yeah, so if you could give me a message, that'd be sweet. We've got 15 viewers watching now. Stream status is good, so that's good. Yeah, and to answer another question from a Yiannis Mamazukis from the last Q&A session. Hopefully I got your name right there. He wanted to know, or to me to recommend any equipment for new motovloggers that you can actually get started with motovlogging. It's not particularly well, you don't have to go, mega expensive. You need obviously a camera. Hope we got all good video and sound is good from Chris. Thanks Chris for that. Yeah, so basically you need a camera. Get that strapped to your helmet. And but you need to make sure you buy a camera that you can put an external mic into. Any action camera, all of them have bad audio for motorbike riding, so it's not ideal just to put the camera on your head with no external microphone. So you have to make sure you get a camera that you can attach an external microphone to, that you can wire into your helmet. I've got one here on my helmet here, hopefully you can see that. I've got a, that's the attachment for my GoPro, so my GoPro attaches to the helmet, and here I've got a 3.5mm jack that you can attach your microphone to, and I've got it hardwired into the helmet, and the microphone sits in front of my face on the chin guard. So you do need to make sure you've got a camera that will house an external microphone. Now I've got 3 cameras that I use. I've got a Hero 3, GoPro Hero 3, which is fairly old but still works pretty well, and these you can attach a external microphone to via a small adapter. Now the new GoPros, any of them, the Hero 5, the Hero 5 Session or the Hero 6, they've got a massive adapter which is crap. The adapter to put in the microphone, the external microphone, is nearly the same size as the camera, so people are sticking these adapters to the side of the helmet. So that is why, the pure reason why I'm still using the Hero 3. So, for starters, it depends what you want to do. You can get a drift, you can get cameras from Contour, from Cine. It depends how much money you want to spend. Now, I think for the starter, I would personally go with the Hero Session. And either get an external mic, use the adapter, or as I said, use a different camera altogether. you can put these lavalier mics up. These are the external microphones that you need. It's a lavalier mic. You can get them all over Amazon and eBay. You know, they don't cost a lot of money. I'd steer clear of the ones that, you know, cost €2 or €3. I always spend about $20 on one that's going to work well, and then you just connect that via an adapter, stick that into your GoPro, and that then sits in the front of your helmet on the chin guard. I do use also a Zoom H1 for audio. Again, you stick a lavalier mic into the side of this. This then runs, as it would do on the GoPro, up into your helmet, but this then sits in my pocket. So some of my videos that I've been doing, I do use this, but you know, this is a more expensive option. One of these is about €100, but it does produce great quality audio on your videos. So that's pretty much all you need for equipment. You know, I obviously have 3 cameras for different angles. It makes the videos a bit more dynamic. Yeah, but you only need one attached to your helmet just to get started. What have we got here? Shane, how much GoPros have you got? I've got 3. So I've got the Hero 3, the Hero 5 Session, and the Hero 5. But yeah, that's as far as that's all the equipment that you need to actually get started. But with regards to sort of, you know, starting your own channel, my advice would be to be just to be yourself. I mean, I did the same sort of thing when I first started out. You obviously watch a lot of other moto vloggers, and you know, you can end up being sort of hung up on how many subscribers you got, how many views you're getting, but you know, I wouldn't worry about that at all, and I don't anymore now. You know, you just produce the videos, produce good content that you want to produce, and yeah, things will go from there. And don't be expected, or don't expect to get, you know, thousands of subscribers within a few months. It does take a long time. I've been doing it properly for sort of 2 years properly. I mean, I did it for a couple of years before that, but I just used to post stuff on YouTube, unedited videos, just as a place for me to store videos, but actually properly editing and producing sort of content the last 2 years or so. So that pretty much answers the question to what you need. I mean, as I said, you don't need a lot of stuff to get started. Just one camera, one external microphone, and obviously your motorbike. So how are we going here? How many people have we got watching? Not many. Current viewers, 11 viewers. Okay. Feel free to hit me with any questions that you might have already. To go back to the questions on the KTM Super Duke GT, as I said in my last video, it was a kind of quite a spontaneous buy actually. As I said, I went down to the excuse the doorbell. Went down to the local KTM dealership just to test ride and to have a look around the dealership, because it was only down the road from me, and I didn't know it was there. I thought the nearest one was in Hanover, which is about an hour away. So yeah, went down there just to have a look around, and there was 2 bikes I wanted to get on, the Super GT and the Super Adventure. Super Adventure wasn't available, but the GT was, so I got on to that. Actually did a review video, but I haven't uploaded it. I wasn't happy with the footage, but after riding it, you know, I was that impressed with it that when I went back to the dealership, I sort of said, well, you know, what would you give me for mine? What's the deals? And then we kind of got talking, and then, you know, he offered me such a good deal that I couldn't say no to it. And I'd give a think. I thought about it for a couple of days, and it went from there. So it wasn't planned, but that's how it happened. And I actually saved myself a lot of money with getting the new bike. It's a brand new bike, but it's a 2017 model, not the 2018. So they gave me a lot of money off the 2017 model. So that's why it came about. Right, we've got a few questions here. So on the subject of your bike, have you been using throughout the winter? Well, I've only ridden it twice. I only picked it up last week, so I've done 150 k's on it so far, so not too much. So I've only been out on it twice. The day I actually picked it up, and the day after, and now actually out the window, but everything is now white. So we're back snowed in. So that is why I thought I'd do something live and talk to you guys about it. Excuse me, I'm a bit casual, having a sweet beer. Hope you don't mind that. Yeah, so haven't done much at all on the bike as yet, so we shall see how the weather progresses and how hopefully it brightens up. Now I'm going out tomorrow to a BMW Open Day, to the launch of the new HB4 race from BMW. Don't I think I'm going to be able to get on the bike, probably have to get up in the car for that one, so yeah, we'll see how we go on that. What else we got here? Dimitri, tell us about the Super Duke GT and the first impressions. Well, first impressions were pretty good. I mean, it's a lot different, although it's I mean, it's comparable to the S1000XR, and a lot of you want to see a comparison video, which I'm going to do. It's a very comparable bike that in the fact that it's a Sport Tourer, same as the XR, but it's kind of it's a completely different experience. I mean, the V-twin engine is completely different, but awesome in the same respect. But first impressions of the bike, I mean, it's a smaller bike than the XR. I mean, I think it weighs 205 kilos dry, so it's a lot smaller. I mean, I'm a bigger guy. I mean, I'm 6'2", but I can still fit on it fairly comfortably, and it is a comfortable ride. Which is nice. I was pleasantly surprised, although it is a much sportier riding position than the XR. I was pleasantly surprised with it. And the engine, I mean, it's an addictive tone. The noise that thing makes is ridiculous, and even the stock can is pretty loud. So it's a good bike. I mean, first impressions, to answer your question, it's pretty tasty. What else we got? What editing software do you use? I use Filmora, which isn't a free software, but it's not expensive software. It's not the most professional, but it works for me. It's got enough on there that I need to edit my videos. I think I paid €50 one-off payment. Updates cost you then, I don't know if you can, I think you can pay a yearly subscription, but you know, there's really no need for motovlogging videos. You know, you don't want to go mental and pay a lot of money for these editing softwares. Although people do, there are some options on there that probably I like, but not necessary. Tom, where did you get that fucking shirt? Well, that is. Those who don't know, Tom is a mate of mine. Thanks, Tom, for that. Where did I get it? I don't know. I think it was in the men's shop. It's fairly expensive. I think it was about $100. Cheeky bugger. What else have we got here? Did they also enable stuff like quick shifter, etc.? I think they have this model on the bike, but you can't use it without paying extra or unlocking. Not sure what you mean there. It does have the quick shifter, the GT, but no down blipper. But that comes as standard. I don't know if that answers your question. I don't quite understand what you mean there, but I think but yeah, the quick shifter is standard. I believe the down blipper is coming out on the 2019 model. There'll be a down blipper, and I think they'll be updating it with the TFT display and a few other changes. I think they're going to be using the headlight from the Super Duke R, but hopefully that answers your question. Is the GT more comfortable than the XR? Tough question. I wouldn't have said it's uncomfortable. As I said, it's a much sportier position, so the pegs are a bit further back, a bit higher, so there's quite a bit of knee bend in there. But the bars are nicely positioned, and the bars are actually adjustable. You can adjust them forward and back. I think there's 3 positions on it. Haven't had a look at that yet. I think I'm in the furthest back position, which is okay for me, but you can move them a bit forward just to get the weight over the front wheel if you wanted to. Yeah, what else we got? Video, all good. Video and audio, that's cool. KTM lets you pay extra when you want to use the stuff like the what? I'm not sure what you mean there, pal. Just bear with me 2 seconds, I'm flicking in between screens here just to make sure I'm getting everything good. Yeah, but to sort of compare it to the XR, the only thing the XR has that the KTM doesn't have is the down blipper. Other than that, the KTM actually has more toys on it than the XR. So you've got semi-active suspension, you've got more adjustability in the suspension. So you have your riding modes as you do on the XR, you can adjust a lot more with preload and damping. So that's a nice thing to have. It has tyre pressure gauges as standard on it, so you can see that on screen. Hydraulic clutch, so the clutch is a lot smoother, a lot easier to pull in than the XR. What else? It doesn't have a centre stand, the GT, which is a bit of a bummer, but makes life a bit more difficult when you're on tours and you want to lube your chain. You have to go back to rolling it forward and lubing it that way. But yeah, but the one thing is much better on the GT is the heated grips. Now on the XR, I thought the heated grips were pretty bad. I mean, in cold weather, they were sort of, you could hardly even feel them. They were sort of lukewarm, you know. But the GT ones are actually pretty hot. So yeah, that's a plus, especially now when you look out the window. I mean, I know you guys in UK, the winter has been proper rough. It's been pretty bad here, but there you go. What have we got here? What do you think to change on the XR after trying the GT? Heated grips for one. I'd change that on the XR. I mean, I did ask down the dealership if you could put the BMW GS heated grips onto the XR, because the GS grips are a lot hotter than the XRs, but couldn't be done apparently. Something to do with the battery couldn't handle it on the XR. But I really wouldn't change anything on the XR. I think, you know, not to take anything away from the bike, it's been a great bike. I mean, I had it 2 years, and I didn't sell it because I was bored or it was bad, or I wasn't getting on with it. It's an absolutely amazing bike. It's kind of bonkers that I did change it when I liked the bike so much. I mean, I know I influenced a lot of people on YouTube to go and buy an XR, and now I've been off and sold it. But that's life. I mean, I haven't bought one bike after the other that's been the same manufacturer, and I'll ride anything that I like. And puts a smile on my face, as I said in many videos. So with test riding other bikes and doing test rides, I get to ride a lot of bikes. So if I do find a bike that interests me and I like to ride and it puts a smile on my face, then I'll buy anything. As I said on a previous video, after being at the bike show in Dortmund, it hit home to me how many bikes I would actually own. As I said, there'd be models from Kawasaki, from KTM, from Ducati, from BMW, from Honda. I mean, from Yamaha. I mean, there's so many bikes that I would actually own if money wasn't an issue. So, yeah, I won't stay with one bike or with one manufacturer. I mean, I was hoping that the XR would bring a new bike out for 2019, maybe with the TFT display that the GS has got. If they did a larger update on it, then I maybe would have waited. But yeah, I met a guy down in Italy last year while I was on tour, and he had the Super GT, and I was talking to him, and he even said to me, he said, if you test ride this bike, you will buy it. And I didn't test ride it last year because I couldn't find a dealership anywhere near me, and I thought, I'm not riding an hour just to go and test ride a bike. And I didn't do it, but now I found this other dealership. I was straight down there to have a look. And that's what he said to me: if you test ride it, you buy it. And I test rode it, and I bought it. Right, any other questions here? Already have a new exhaust in mind. Yes, I mean, I've looked on YouTube a lot. I mean, it is difficult to find videos, and I was the same. I've done a few sound videos on exhaust on the XRs and previous bikes. It's hard to get the exhaust tones, good audio on a video, so it's difficult to without hearing one live. It's difficult to find an exhaust that I like. But I have looked at the Ramus exhaust, or the Remus. I've heard the Acras on the bike, the slip-ons, but I wasn't particularly knocked over with how loud or good or nice it sounds. And with Acra, you know, they're proper expensive. You're knocking on nearly €1,000 here just for a slip-on end can, so that's a bit tasty. So I've got some other ones in mind. The Miv sounds alright. The Remus. I mean, there's plenty about that to look at. But to be honest, the stock can sound so good, and it is loud that, you know, it's not, and it doesn't look ugly. It's not a massive essential that I have to go and get one out on it next week because, you know, it's terrible. It's actually pretty nice. So, but I will be changing it, I think, for sure. What else we got? Nicholas Stanford. I think the issue with the cold hands is more to do with the gloves than the heated grips. I use very thin gloves, and the heat from the grips is fine. Yeah, I mean, okay, I mean, I've tried it in all different, you know, gloves. I've used summer gloves, winter gloves, and I think they're pretty lukewarm, you know, even on their maximum setting. I mean, I don't think I ever even used the heated grips on the sort of medium setting. I always had them on max, and they were never sufficient. And even when I rode the bike down, rode the XR down to pick up the new one, I had them on full power. I mean, it was pretty cold, and I could hardly even tell they were on. So, and I did have them checked down at the dealership, and there wasn't an issue with them. But they did say to me the XR's ones are not as hot, or don't get as hot as the ones on the GS for some power battery reasons, and I couldn't put the GS ones on the XR, so that's a bit of a bummer. Okay, what else we got? As a touring bike, is the XR better than the GT? Yeah, I can't answer that one at the moment. As I said, I've only done 150 Ks on it. I mean, as I said, it is a sportier position, but it isn't uncomfortable, so I don't expect it to be worse than the XR. But first impressions, I would have said the XR is probably more comfortable than the GT. The stock seat on the GT is a bit hard. First impressions, but I rode 150 k's in one without an issue. But I will be personally, I'll be interested to see how I get on when I'm doing 500, 600, 700 k's a day, whether it will be an issue with the seat or not. But as I said, it is a sportier position. It's a much different seating position to the XR. And a lot of people have asked, you know, for taking passengers on the XR or the GT, which bike would be better. And I would have said the XR is probably better if you're twos up. You know, if you take your wife, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. The XR, I would have said it's probably a more comfortable position. It's a bigger bike, it's a taller bike. The GT is much smaller, it's lower. It's just an all-out animal, you know. Although it is classed as a sports tourer, it's pretty bonkers, and I don't know if I'd want anybody on the back of the GT, to be honest. And I've not even really sort of twisted its wrung its neck yet. You know, we're still in the sort of break-in phase, so I haven't given it full beans. But I have heard from other people that have the bike that it's they've taken their wives out in the back, and they didn't enjoy it much. So to answer that question, I would have said the XR is probably a more comfortable tourer than the GT, but I ride it on my Todd, and I like bonkers, so we'll stick with bonkers. What else we got? Yeah, Ramus Carbon is coming for the XR, but it's Euro 4. So to be honest, there will be no sound difference for me, but it'll be looking nice. Yeah, I mean the XR exhaust isn't the nicest looking, but it wasn't a bad stock can either. To be honest, I quite liked it, the sound of it, and it didn't. With the XR, it didn't change much. I think it's hard to find an exhaust for the XR, just a slip-on, that makes a dramatic difference. I don't think there's any that you can get for that. You know, guys that have changed the full system on the XR, then you start to hear the benefit from it. But from the XR, most of the noise comes from the airbox, and you know, a bit from the exhaust, but it's quite a loud sound from the airbox. So just changing a slip-on, it's hard to find one that makes a dramatic difference. And I had the Cobra Hyper Shots, which I was pleased with. You know, it wasn't overly loud, it wasn't offensive, but it gave it a nicer sort of deeper tone. But it wasn't a loud exhaust. So yeah, exhausts, it's difficult. I mean, I was speaking to a guy today on YouTube. He was talking about, you know, changing full systems, but it's just illegal to do that here. I mean, it seems that, I mean, everybody in Europe has to abide by Euro 4 laws, but it seems that, and especially not in UK, the law doesn't seem to be enforced. I mean, although everybody has to abide by it, in UK everybody slaps full systems on their bikes. DB killers are gone, chucked in the bin, and nobody sort of batters an eyelid on MOTs. Police don't pull you over and check you for exhaust. Here, it's heavily enforced, and all the coppers know exactly what should be on your bike and what not. I mean, I've said it on previous videos, I got pulled over for riding without a DB killer in Germany, which isn't particularly bad, but that cost me 3 points and €280 fine for riding without a DB killer. So they probably make you pregnant if you run a full system here in Germany. It's just not worth doing. I mean, even if you put your stock can back on for an MOT, if you get pulled by a copper here, you are in for it. So I won't be doing that. What else we got? Thank you for your answer, and thanks for your videos. It's a pleasure to watch them. Well, thank you. That's very, very kind. I do try. So how are we doing? How many viewers we got? Not that many, to be honest, but how long have we been going? We've been going an average. Let me just check. I don't want to go on forever. Nearly half an hour. So I think maybe at half an hour, probably end it, unless anybody wants me to carry on. What else? Let me see if we've got any other questions we didn't answer. No, I think we're all done. But yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing. I do like to answer your questions, and it's a bit easier to do it this way, I think. I mean, I did a Q&A session video before, but it wasn't live, and I just wrote down and noted everybody's questions. But I think now, for this way, I think it's a much nicer, bit more personal way to answer your questions. What else we got here, Nick? Sorry, mate, just joined. Quite disappointed you changed the XR. Damn. I hope you have fond memories of it. Yeah, I mean, I lost a few subscribers in the last couple of days, but obviously they're XR owners. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to see it go. But you know, I'm happy I've got a new bike that I really like. But yeah, I mean, the XR's been great, and I wouldn't ever say it was a bad bike, or you know, I said I didn't sell it because I'd had enough of it or anything. That I mean, yeah, I even had on the XR after 4,000 kilometers, the cams went on it. I had to have all new cams and rockers after 4,000 k's, which is a bit of a disaster if you ask me. But BMW helped me out, and with the guarantee, and the customer service was amazing. It did take them a while to admit that there was something wrong with the bike. I was down there 3 times saying there's something wrong with this. Sounds like a bag of spanners. And it was only the 3rd time that I was there, and I said, you know, I'm not having it, there's something wrong with this. I want your best mechanic, most experienced mechanic to ride it And I said to him before, I said, don't tell him anything that we've just spoken about. I don't want him to know what he's to look for. He's just to ride it up the road for 10 minutes. Tell me what's wrong with it. And he came back after, it wasn't even 10 minutes, 2-3 minutes. He said, yeah, I think your cams are gone. So, but after, you know, that happened, you know, I was sorted out. The customer service was great, and it was dealt with fairly quickly. You know, it is a bummer, and probably, you know, a lot say that shouldn't happen on bikes like that, but you know, it's part of ownership for me. I wouldn't get irate about it. Although I was frustrated at the beginning that the problem wasn't being recognised. It is part of ownership. Every manufacturer have at some point had a batch of duff parts, whatever, for whatever reason. Every manufacturer has it, and they get recalls on this batch and this batch for parts that have been bad. So I think as long as you've got the support and the customer service and everything gets sorted out, there's no need to say it's a bad bike, or you know. And after that, I mean, I've put, since that issue, 10,000 Ks on the bike app after that with no problem. So yeah, I haven't got anything bad to say about the bike. It's a few niggly things, but nothing too terrible. What else we got here? It's all about the passion, not the bike. Keep on sharing. Well, thanks for that, Nick. Do you think you'll miss the centre stand for the chain maintenance? Not for chain maintenance, because I have paddock stands in the garage. So when I'm at home for chain maintenance, it's no issue. It's just when you're out on the road, when you're riding, especially when I'm on tour. You know, every sort of 600-700 Ks, I like to lube the chain. It's a bit of annoyance then, because you've got to lube part of it, push the bike forward, lube another bit, push it forward, lube another bit, and it's a bit quicker. You can whip it on a centre stand and just spin the wheel. So yeah, that's not too much of an issue for day trips. For longer tours, for sure, but not for short term. And as I said, garage wise, I've got paddock stands anyway. As for subscribers, view accounts and all that jazz, just keep on dishing out good content and it will grow. Yeah, I mean, I give up a long time ago about, you know, worrying about that. And to be honest, nowadays with YouTube, it's become much more difficult to get noticed, if you like. You know, the days, I mean, the guys I used to watch, like Raw Jordanian, Baron from Grumble, Adrian Nickelodeon, they were the sort of, I mean, their channels are huge. I mean, they've got thousands, but it was a time, I think it was maybe 5-6 years ago when they first started, where it first came out, this motovlogging lark. So they were kind of the first guys to do it, and you know, and it built from there. Now, people that want to do it now, YouTube have made it, you know, it's a lot more difficult to do and to get out there. So if you start doing it, or you have been doing it, it's easy to get frustrated that it's not growing as fast as you want it to. I mean, for maybe 2.5 years I've been doing it properly, and what am I at now? I don't even know. 2,500 subscribers maybe, which is still, that's a very small channel in the large scheme of things. But on the flip side of that, you know, with that small sort of subscriber base, I've got 3 companies that I've been working with and reviewing products with. So SW Motec, Metroid Louis, which is a German-based company, which has happened sort of recently in the last few months, but I've been doing loads of videos for them, and there's more to come from there. And just recently, over the last month, Cena have got on board. So I've got the Cena 30Ks, which I've only done a couple of videos on so far, but there's more to come from them. So although it's a small channel, I'm really happy that how it's going. Although it has been, in the last 6 months, it's been a lot, and it's been a lot of work to get the videos out there, to get them filmed, to get them edited. And I've been lucky that I've been off work for the last few weeks to get a lot done, because it does take up a lot of your time. You know, to make a 10-minute video, whether it be riding or doing a product review in the garage, you're looking at, make a 10-minute video, you're looking at maybe 5 or 6 hours when you consider filming it, editing it, cutting it, uploading it. It took him 5 or 6 hours to make a decent 10-minute video. So to put that into sort of perspective, that's a lot of your time. And you know, when you get these companies on board that want you to test their products, they want you to make the videos, which I'm really happy to do, and I'm happy to test their products. It does take up a lot of your time, and it's nothing to do with money. You do make a little bit on YouTube, but it's peanuts. And to put it into perspective, I get maybe a month from YouTube. Not many people tell you what they get from YouTube, but I don't mind, I'll tell you. I get between 30 and 70 euros a month just from YouTube. So if you divide that into the hours you put into making your videos, you probably earn like a few pence a minute. So it's not even, you know, that's not the reason I do it for it, but it's nice to have that. You know, if you can fill your bike up a couple of times a month, or I tend to save it up and use it on my European tour, and it just keeps me doing it. It doesn't. You're not going to get rich, and you're not going to be able to do it for a living, but it helps. But that's where it comes into it from you guys that have expressed an interest to support the channel. As I said at the start of the video, for anybody that did miss that, in the description below is a link to my Patreon account for those that do want to support it. And likewise on the super chat, I mean, I've not really looked into it much on this live stuff, but on the super chat there is a $sign on there. If you I don't know, I think that it buys you a comment, it gets your comment answered. I have no idea, but you know, that's another way of getting me a beer. If you want me to get me a beer, click that $sign there in the bottom of the chat. Bush bash, but super chat, it's called. There you go. So there you go. What else we got? There's a few more coming in. Perfect time for a Q&A. Yeah, well, I mean, we're going 35 minutes. I mean, I'm happy to keep going if you guys are still interested and I'm not blabbling shite. If I start to run out of things to say, then we can probably end it. But let me answer a few more. Here we go. From TLNT, greetings from Greece. Well, that's nice. I mean, yeah, I mean, same thing. If you're watching in other countries, let me know in the comments below where you're watching from. It's nice to know where you guys are watching from. What else? Sorry, I didn't read your comment there. Thanks for the sticker you sent me. Enjoy a new KTM. Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm looking into getting some new stickers done. I've still got loads of the other ones, and that was another thing that I did. You know, I made the stickers initially to sell them, but I thought, you know, there's no point, so I just gave them away in a few, I don't know, free giveaways and stuff that I did, and for new subscribers. But I've still got loads left if anybody wants stickers. What do we got here? Do you feel a significant power or torque difference? What's we got? Emilva, is that how you say your name? Sorry, that's completely wrong. Yes, massive difference. The GT has 13 extra brake horsepower, and I think it's something ridiculous. I can't remember the top of my head. 144 newton meters of torque, I think. Might be guessing, but I think that's pretty accurate. But you have to take into account it's a much smaller bike. The GT, I think, is at least 20 kilos lighter than the XR, and it's got much more torque. And the power is just everywhere. It's from low down, it's high up, over the complete rev range. It doesn't matter what rev you're in. Once we got a day smart traitor. Thanks, Dave. Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't matter what gearing, what revs you're at. You've got power all over the gaff. I mean, obviously it's got its peak curve, which is a bit higher up, but it's a matter. I mean, the XR is fairly bonkers as well, but just the way you get it from the power, the way you get it from the GT is it's a completely different experience, and that's why they call it the Beast. Although the Beast is actually the Super Duke R, the GT is the same bike. It's the same engine. Well, it's not the same bike. It's the same engine. But that's what KTM wanted to do. They wanted to make a sports tour out of the R, but they didn't want to lose any power or performance. So although you do get the power slightly different in the delivery from the R, the Beast is still there. I mean, I've not even unleashed it because I'm still running it in, and the guy at the shop, when I picked it up, he even said to me, he said, Sean, before you get used to this bike, I mean, you have to run it in anyway, do not turn off the traction control. he said because it'll wheelie first, second, third, fourth gear. If you just crack it, it will go. So I'm looking forward to testing that out for sure. So I'll be doing that once I've broke it in, and we'll turn off the traction control and have a mess about. Nick, you still there? Do you ever call up Baron for a video collaboration? That would be amusing. I did message him a few times, but I don't know. That's where I make the effort to answer. I mean, I think I'm up to. I mean, I'm nearly at 100% response to everybody's questions. I messaged a lot of the bigger channels and I never got an answer. The only one that ever returned messages was RJ, and he sent me some stickers and some some merch. All the others I never got any answers from, and that's why I make the effort to answer everybody's questions, because I think it's important. You know, even I was first starting and I was asking people, how do I do it? What's the best cameras? You know, how are you getting your audio? What editing software? You know, if you write a message to any of the big guys, you never get an answer. So that's why I do make the effort to, you know, I sit down of an evening for an hour on YouTube and I just type away and answer your questions. So I think that's why it's a good thing to do in a live Q&A. So if you think it's good, then you know, maybe I'll do one a month or something just to answer your questions. It's a bit more personal and I can get them rattled off rather than sit here typing away for hours. And to be honest, sometimes, you know, you're reading them and you're just like, yeah, thanks for watching, or, you know, it's not particularly personal. So there you go. Thanks for your post for this chat. Hello from Romania. Oof, from an XR fanatic. Yeah, as I said, I did influence a lot of people into buying the XR over the videos that I did, so I'm glad I did that. Sorry I flogged it. There you go. Maybe you'll all buy a GT. I mean, there's a lot of XR owners that I've been speaking to on YouTube and in the groups that have said, "Ooh, I test rode the GT, but I bought the XR." Or people that hadn't test rode the GT and they thought, I've got the XR, but it kind of looks exciting what you've posted. So maybe I'll influence you all into get a KTM. And to be honest, the KTM is proper cool. It's much cooler than the Beamer. I mean, and I've got guys from UK, my friends in UK, they take the piss out of me no end for owning a BMW. So now that I've got a KTM, that apparently I've earned their respect. What else we got? Hi from South Australia. It's 5 AM. Are you joking? What are you doing up at 5:30 in the morning? I wouldn't be. Oh, another one. Sir Ride a Bit. Hi from South Australia. It's 5:30 AM. Wayne Merritt. It's 5:48 in Australia. What are you guys doing watching? Ooh, we've had a bit of a flicker. Are we still good? Stream status is good. I've lost the feed. Are we still there? Give us a message if you're still there. Looks a bit dodgy. Hope we don't lose connection. How long have we been banging on? 45 minutes. Oh dear. Okay, what else have we got? How many people are watching? See if we got any more viewers. Excuse me, 2 seconds. Clicking away. Okay. 15 viewers. Would like to know your experience from the BMW service versus KTM. That's a good question, George. Yeah, I mean, I had great service at BMW. I love the dealership I went to, but although to be honest, the first ever BMW dealership I went to, I thought was crap. And then I subsequently went to a different one where I actually bought my XR. Sorry, I'm just checking the stream status here. It's not particularly great, but hopefully it's working. Yeah, where was I? Customer service BMW. Yeah, so it was the second dealership I got to that actually I bought the XR from, which I was happy with. Great service, and they helped me out with my issue with the cams, and later on after that, service was amazing. The dealership, they put on 15 tours that you can book yourself onto, which I booked a lot on with. So with them, it wasn't just the fact of you've bought a bike at my dealership and I'll just see you every year for a service. They want the customer interaction. They want you to ride with them. They want to do days out. They want to do trips. So I love that, and I'll still continue to ride with them, even though I'll be on a KTM. Probably get some dodgy looks, but not everybody rides a Beamer that rides with them. So great service from BMW. From versus KTM service, you know, all I've done so far is bought the bike, but because I bought it from that dealership, it was enough, you know, the how they were, their demeanour, or their customer service I thought was good, and they're really nice people. Otherwise I wouldn't have got it. And you know, you can tell when you walk into a dealership if somebody wants to help, they want to try and sell you. But you know, I've been into loads of places, you walk in and they won't even look at you, or you'd be like, anybody going to speak to me or try and sell me a bike? No? Okay, well I'll go somewhere else. So okay, Tim, it was definitely the opposite of that. They wanted to sell me one and they wanted to help me out, and we sat down for a while, chewed everything over, and that's the deal. Oh, my beer's empty. Let me open another. That's how they came across. So I wouldn't have bought a bike from them if they hadn't been offering good service. Hope you don't mind me all drinking. Blah, 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 blah. I've lost me. All happened so fast. This chat here. Still here. Feed cuts in and out. Yeah, maybe the wife's downstairs watching something. That's not good. You will have lots of viewers watching the replay. Yes, okay. Mr. Smith, I'm from Sweden, and the SE has lots of snow. Boring. Happy to see you ride, and congratulations on the new bike. Well, thank you there, Mr. Smith. I've only got out on it twice. The day I bought it for an hour just to ride it home, and the day after I was out all day, but now it's all covered in snow. So I'm going to be waiting like all of you poor sods are. Again, TLNT would be interested to know also if there is any difference regarding the tyre wear between the XR and the GT. Yeah, time will tell. To be honest, I thought the XR was going to munch through tyres, but I thought the rear on the XR was going to go, you know, fairly quickly, but I don't know, what did I get? I think I got 6,000 or 7,000 Ks out of a set on the XR, which ain't bad for sports touring tyres. I was expecting it to be brutal on tyres, but maybe the GT might be worse, I don't know, but you know, it's a light bike. I don't know, see how we get on with that tyre wise. But I'm looking to get the I think that there's any Pirelli Angel GTs on the Super Duke, and once they're gone, I'll probably go with the new Pilot Road 5s, or the Road 5s from Michelin. I always had the Pilot Road 4s, I had a few sets of them on other bikes, one on the XR, one on the Tiger, and they always did well. So on the Tiger I've got something ridiculous like 13,000 kilometres out of a sport touring set, but I ain't going to get that on this bike, so we shall see how we get on with that. Found your enthusiasm giggles on bike reveals so much fun. Yeah, sometimes it happens, isn't it? I think it's a bit more genuine if you're generally amused by what you're riding. George, what maintenance do you do on your bike personally, like oil change? Well, I did a lot more on the Tiger because or for those of you who don't know, I had the Triumph Tiger 1050 before the XR. And I had that beyond warranty, so I did a lot more on that bike than I do now. On the XR, I didn't really do anything. With it being under warranty, you know, you can do stuff, but it's, you know, it depends how many miles you do. If I was doing a lot more miles before the 1 year service was due, then I'd probably do an oil service myself. But I never got to that point. And with the issues I had with the cams, I got from BMW, I got 2 free services, you know, just as an inconvenience that the cams were knackered. So I got 2 free services out of that. So I didn't need to do anything myself on the XR because I had them free services, and I subsequently extended the warranty on the XR after the 2 years run out. I extended it to 4, just because I was still a bit worried about anything else going wrong with the bike. Just so I had that sort of backup, but as it happens, I paid, I don't know, it was €260 to extend it for another 2 years, and then 2 months later I flogged it. But you know, if you extend the warranty, it's a good sales point. You know, if you can sell a bike that's got, you know, another 2 years warranty, you're going to get a better price for it. So, and I did. So that €260 probably actually got me more money for the bike. So that wasn't too bad. Stuart Forshaw, hi Stuart. You always comment on my videos. Very good. Got my XR ready, lubed the chain, pumped up the tyres, snowed 5 times. Snowed 5 times a day. Yeah, sod's law, innit? That's good, Stuart. I like that. Bugger. Yeah, I mean, it's been, hasn't it been a terrible winter? I mean, you guys in the UK have had it bad. I mean, you must be from UK. I mean, it's been awful. I've been seeing it on Facebook and family and friends. It's been terrible. And to be honest, it's been pretty bad here. I mean, I ride all year round, and I'll still ride in winter. You know, if the sun's out, and I'd ride tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be sunny tomorrow all day, but it's going to be -6 or something. And although the roads might be free, God, it's a bit rough. You know, I'd rather wait until it's gone. I think we've got another week of minus temperatures, and then after that, things are going to get better. So, well, streaming status is back up to good. I've been banging on now for 51 minutes. Do you still want to keep going? Maybe do an hour? I mean, I'll keep going. I don't mind as long as as long as the comments keep coming in. What else we got? David, look at the new Road 5s. Yeah, I looked at them, and I had a good look round at them at the bike show. And as I said, I've had how many sets now? 2 sets of the Pilot Road 4s, and I was really happy with the Pilot Road 4s. And every time the Michelin bring out a new Road 4, I mean, I never had a set of the 3s, but they improved the 3s to the 4s, and they've now improved the 5 or the 5s from the 4s. Generally, they mainly improved the wet grip on the Pilot Roads, and the longevity. You know, the amount of Ks that you get out of them. You know, and they're fine. You know, they're sport touring tyres, and I've never had an issue with grip, and I ride pretty hard a lot of the time, and I've never had an issue in the dry either. They inspire confidence, all of them. The Road 4s have been a great tyre, but the 5 is supposed to be the tyre to beat. So yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the Bridgestone. I think the T30s I had on the XR as stock, and I think the T31 is out. T30s were great, dry and wet grip, but they didn't last long. They were shot just under, no, not even 4,500 kilometers. They were done, and then I put a set of the Road 4s on, and they lasted over 6, and I sold them with them on the bike, so they were still good to go. They still had a good, I don't know, at least 3 or 4, maybe 4 would be pushing it, at least 3,000 k's left in them. So yeah, interesting to see how the 5s will, how much more you get out of it, man. I did look online the other day, fairly expensive, but the 4s have gone down in price, so maybe wait a bit till the price comes down on the 5, and yeah, see how we go from there. Blah blah, do your knees fit under the tank? Didn't we speak about this earlier? Didn't you comment on a video earlier about that? Yeah, I mean, the GT, Super Duke DT is, it hasn't got as much room as the XR. As I said, I'm 6'2". I'm quite well, not a massive build, but more on edging towards the bigger build after Christmas. I didn't have any issues with the room on the GT. I mean, yes, the tank, it's got a sort of, it's like the Triumph Explorer, if any of you know that. It has got quite an abrupt sort of fairing on the tank, and my knees are actually at the top where it sort of curves out, so I haven't got any spare room, but it's not cramped, and it's not uncomfortable. So but yes, the XR has more leg room, but
as I said, on the GT, it's a much sporty ride. So as long as you're on your toes or the balls of your foot on the pegs, your knees come down anyway. If you like to ride, you know, on the pegs in the middle of your feet, then I get, you know, my knees are at the top of the tank. But it depends how you sit on it. But you know, only time will tell. I'm going to ride it obviously on tour in June. So you know, I'm fairly interested myself to see how comfortable the bike is. But as I said, it's not uncomfortable. It's a more sporty ride, but it's not uncomfortable in any way. Did you try the KTM 1290R? Same bike, looks better, much lighter, and you can fit some bags. No, I haven't tried it. Loads in the shop there, but you know, it's not a bike I would consider buying, because you know, I like to tour. I like to do long rides, and I think that would be too. It's not probably much different in the riding position, but without having a screen, it's a great hooligan bike, you know, for monkeying around on. But for chewing miles, putting luggage on, you know, that's not the right bike for me. So, you know, I probably, now that I'm a customer at KTM, you know, if my bike goes in for a service, you know, I will probably say, you know, can I take the R out or can I take the Super Adventure out? I'll try some other bikes that they have. So, yeah, I'm sure I'll get on it eventually. I've Stuart's back again. We'll ride till the grit gets put down. November last year. Do you have grit over there? Or do you have something else? No, we have it there. Grit and salt, and it's horrible. The roads are just white with salt, and yeah, gets trashed. And to be honest, the Germans are much more efficient than UK. You know, you see it all over the news. If it snows in UK, the old country is buggered, isn't it? It's just shut down. Nothing happens. But here, you know, they're really efficient, the Germans. You know, every road is gritted. They sort it out. You can ride, you can drive. You know, it's no great shakes here. I mean, obviously it's a bit treacherous, especially if it's minus degrees. But no, they sort it out. They're pretty efficient, the Germans. George again. George Königsberg, isn't that a beer? Königsberg? No, probably not. Sorry. Really enjoy your channel. Thanks for sharing your thoughts here. I'm picking up a new Super Adventure S next week, weather permitting. Yeah, hopefully the weather is good that you can pick that thing up. Again, I'd probably like to get on that when I get the chance, just to do a review on it. A lot of guys have asked if I would do it, just for my sort of thoughts on it. So I'll, as I said, now I'm a customer at my KTM dealership, then I shall try some other bikes nonetheless. I've got a ride out with them next Saturday, 24th of March. So first ride out with the KTM dealership. They organise rides out as well. So I'm going to get on with those boys and see what that's like. How are we doing for time? We're nearly at an hour. Blimey. Well, see how we go. So now you have to mod your new bike. What's first? So I've already done the first one. I've changed the screen, or I kept the stock screen, but it's like I did on my XR. I spray the inside of the screen, not with paint, but a spray on, it's like a liquid vinyl. Looks the same as paint, so if you spray it on the inside, it doesn't get, you know, hit with bugs or the elements, but then on the outside it still looks like a gloss or a black gloss effect, so it looks like a different screen. And I did it on the XR and it looks amazing, and I had it on the XR for 2 years and never had an issue with it. It never came off, and that's the beauty of the stuff that I spray on it. You can just peel it off like a vinyl, so you can just take it off. Now, because I may get issues with that with the TÜV, which is the German sort of MOT, might be dodgy. I mean, I got rid of the XR before the MOT was due. But if somebody was to complain or to ask to see paperwork, because darkened screens, although you don't actually look through it, the position on the XR, on the GT, the screen is much lower. Although you can adjust it, you don't have to be able to see through it. So it's really nice how I've done it. So we'll see how we go on that. Other mods, yeah, I want to change the exhaust eventually. I'll probably change the levers, some crash protection. I've been in touch with SW Motec. They've expressed their interest to kit me out with a bit of crash protection, so some engine bars, some front fork sliders, some rear axle sliders, maybe some bar ends. I don't know. Probably I'll probably crash protection it up a bit, and yeah. So in that respect, there's some mods to come. Probably change the levers, although they are adjustable on the GT. That's the other thing maybe that it wins over on the XR. On the XR, clutch lever wasn't adjustable, and I had to change the entire levers to get adjustable ones, because I found it a much too long reach on the XR. KTM, the levers are adjustable, but they're not the nicest things to look at, so I might change the levers. Eventually maybe get some handguards, but I don't know, I don't want to go down the road too far as to make it too adventure bike. You know, although the XR wasn't an adventure bike either, it was more for more of a foot in the sports bike, comfortable sports bike. The GT is that bit more sporty, so I don't want to add too much stuff on it that will make it look, you know, too adventure-y. And with the GT, I'm not going to add any panniers on it. I'm just going to, when I tour, I'm just going to go with a tank bag and 2 tail bags, and then that's another one to look forward to on the channel. I've got all the tail bags coming from SW Motec to review, to do a sort of buying guide on tail bags from them, so that's something to look forward to. Hopefully I get them next week, so that's a good sort of 7 or 8 bags to do a buying guide on. So look forward to that. Sorry, I'm banging on here. Sorry, that was a bit long-winded. That's the sort of mod plans for the start. What else we got? Blah blah. Blah, but that's not me, that's somebody's called blah blah. I think it's a very good deal from KTM, 13,995 for a new bike. Yes, that's what I got offered on. The 2017 model from the GT was 17,995, but KTM had a deal on, because it's a 2017 bike and the 2018 bike had been released. They reduced the 17 bike €4,000. So as I said, as blah blah said there, I got it for 13,995 for the 2017 model, and the only difference that it has on the 2018 model is the colour of the paint. So it's a bit of a no-brainer there, isn't it? Why would I buy it? And even the 2018 model was 18,395 just to have it in black. So, and you know, I asked the dealership why that was, and he said that it's probably because they had so much stock left over from the 2017 model that they reduced the price just to get rid of the stock. But there's no difference mechanically looks apart from the paint. There's nothing else different on the bike from 2017 to 2018 apart from the colour of the paint. So it was a no-brainer. But for 2019, they've already, you know, said what's coming out. And it's going to be a whole new look on the bike. They're changing the headlight. I think they're going to put the headlight on from the Super Duke R on it. TFT display will be on it, and the down blipper will be on it. Maybe a few other bits and bobs, but it looks different. I'm not sure I like the new look of the 2019. There's been some leaked photos online that I saw of it. Not sure, but that's why I bought this one, the 2017 model, because €4,000 off the price. Okay, right, I think we'll do a few more questions, then we'll end it there. I've been rabbiting on now for over an hour. Are you enjoying it? I'm enjoying it. Okay, G-Man's Bikes and Bits. Hi mate, new bike looks great. Spring is around the corner, so you'll be soon riding in the nicer weather. Don't forget Evotech. Do some great parts of the GT. Cheers, G-Man. Yeah, I had a look on Evotech Performance, because I bought some stuff from them from the XR and on the Tiger. But I didn't think there was a lot on there. There were some radiator guards, there was a tail tidy, some axle sliders, and some bits and bobs. But I didn't think there was a lot. But something to look at. It depends. Depends what happens with the stuff from FSW Motec. So, but it is in mind. I did look on their site to see what they've got from it, as other people have had. Sir Ride a Bit. What's on your list for a second retro bike? Yeah, it's a bit of a long list, and it's sort of money. I don't know how. I don't think it's going to be happening in the next year or so. but I've ridden some from Triumph and BMW, and to be honest, you know, when I had the XR, I was really heavily into the R9T and the R9T Scrambler. I've been on the Bonneville from Triumph. I did want to get on the Bobber, but you know, I don't know. I think especially from BMW, the retro bikes from BMW are just too expensive, and because they're so new, even to buy a second-hand one, the price is just is too much money for a second bike. You're still talking at least 14,000, 13,000 euros for a second-hand retro bike. That's just too much. Triumph's so much cheaper, depends on what you want to get. I mean, the range is massive from Triumph on their retro bikes, but you can sort of pick up a nice, maybe a street scrambler or a Bonnie, you know, for around the 9,000-10,000 euro mark. And again, if you get second hand, you know, there's the market is flooded, you know, with second hand Triumph bikes that you can get, you know, you'll be able to get a good deal. I mean, you can get a second hand one maybe a year or two old, maybe 7 grand. So I think BMW would be out of the question, but I think I would be more edging towards Triumph. But as I said, I don't know how and when that's happened. You know, I think it will happen. I've still got, you know, commitments with this house. I built this house 3 years ago, and it ain't finished. Not quite. I've still got some bits to do inside and outside, you know, some landscaping. So I've got some other commitments that I need money for. So realistically, I don't think a second bike's going to be happening for a year or two. But when it does, and I'm sure it will. The second bike will be something retro. So yeah, right. Well, I think I'm going to end it there. Well, we've been going on for 1 hour and 6 minutes. It's been great. Thanks to you guys that have been watching. How many have we got now? We've got 17 current viewers. So thanks for watching, and thanks for your questions. Let's hope the weather improves and we can get out soon. And yeah, as I said, there's plenty more videos to come on the new bike. So I'm going to be doing the comparison from the GT to the S1000 XR, because that has been an asked after video. As I said, you know, it is a comparable bike in the fact that it's in the sports tourer category. But yeah, we'll get that done. And yeah, I'm going to do a review on the GT, but I didn't want to do a review on it just having owned it and just riding it for not long. You know, when you test ride a bike, you know, a test ride generally lasts half an hour, and to be honest, you know, you can give a first impressions review on a bike, but I think to give a decent review, I'm going to give it some time, ride it, get some miles under my belt, and then I can give you a sort of a more in-depth, detailed review of what I actually think about it. That's better than just doing one that you've just thrown your leg over for half an hour. So plenty more videos to come on the GT. Look forward to all my tours that are coming up. I've got loads of days out booked. I've got my European tour in June 8th. I set off on June the 8th. So I'm going to be going down to Black Forest, Switzerland, France for 10-11 days, and on the way back 2 days at the Nürburgring, so hopefully get the GT thrashed around the Nürburgring. And yeah, I've got some overnighters, some 2-day tours, some 3-day tours, all organised stuff, but you know, in between obviously I'll be going out on my Todd and doing some normal vlogs. So hopefully you've been enjoying the product reviews. I've still got sort of, I don't know, a good 3 or 4 left to do. It's been optimal. It's been the best time to do it in winter, and I haven't been able to get out much, so it's been a good time to get some product reviews done. But that will die off. I think I'm still hoping to continue to do them through the season, but it will slow down. You know, maybe do the odd 1 or 2. But what I'm interested in is getting out on the bike. And to be honest, I'm much more comfortable filming and doing vlogs with my helmet on. Sat in front of the camera, although you know, I can do it. It feels a bit wooden. It doesn't feel me. I can be more me when I've got my helmet on and acting like an idiot when we're out riding. So yeah, that's it from today. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time. I think I'm going to be doing this now more often. I think maybe I'll do it once a month, a live Q&A. It's just a bit easier to answer all your questions. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you out there.